Now let us discuss one question. Are a manufacturer of machines. R is a manufacturer of machines having turnover of more than 1.5 crores. So he is not availing any composition scheme. So basically why this turnover information is provided is not availing composition scheme. Received an advance of rupees 1,20,000. Now here advance received is rupees 1,20,000 along with purchase order on 15/10. He has received an advance along with a purchase order on 15/10 for supply of machine X for 20 lakh rupees. Value of supply of machine X is what? 20 lakh rupees. Value of supply is 20 lakh rupees to be manufactured according to specifications. Advance payment entered in books of accounts on 16/10. So date of receipt of advance payment, date when the advance payment has been entered, that is 16/10. Date of entry in books and date when the same is credited in bank account. Date of credit, it has been provided is on 18/10. So the date of receipt of payment will be what? Date of entry or date of credit in the bank account. 16/10 is a date when he has entered the same. The machine is manufactured and after approval has been delivered. Now date of removal of machine is 25/10. Date of removal of machine is 25/10 and invoice is raised at the time of removal. Date of invoice is also what? Date of invoice is 25/10. And balance payment of 18/18 has been received on 15/11. Balance payment has been received on 15/11. 15/11 balance payment is received. 18,80,000. Which was recorded in the books of accounts of R on the same date and credited in the bank on 17/11. Now here date of credit is 17/11. Determine time of supply. Now here in respect of goods, basically in respect of goods, if any advance is received, in respect of goods, if any advance is received, the time of supply in respect of such advance payment the time of supply in respect of such advance payment shall be what? The date of invoice or the last date on which invoice was to be issued. As per provisions of section 1212. As per what? Provisions of section 12(2)(a). So no GST will be leviable on advance payment in respect of goods. No GST is leviable when advance payment is received. When advance payment is received in respect of goods. In respect of goods. No GST is leviable when advance payment is received in respect of goods. Now, further, the time of supply is what in respect of goods basically will be what? Is the date of invoice or the last date when invoice is received, is required to be issued, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. So this is the date of invoice or the last date on which the invoice is required to be issued, say whichever is earlier. So here we see what is the time of supply. So time of supply in respect of the advance payment amounting rupees 1,20,000 and the balance payment of rupees 18,80,000 shall be the date of invoice as invoice is issued in accordance with the provisions of section 31 within the timelines as required under 31. So basically what will be the time of supply here? It will be date of removal of the goods is 25/10 and invoice is also raised on that date. So it will be 25/10. It will be 25/10. So the time of supply will be what? 25/10 here. So we have to basically write the first of all that advance received in respect of goods is not liable to GST at a time of the receipt of advance, but it is liable to GST in normal manner when the invoice is issued or the last date on which the invoice is required to be, say, issued. Date of payment is as such not relevant here. Because earlier it was what? The date of invoice or the last date on which invoice was required to be issued or the date of payment, say whichever is earlier. But notification has been issued stating that if you receive any advance in respect of goods, you will not be liable to pay GST at the time of what? Receipt of such advance. Now one more question. R issues an invoice of rupees 64,100. Now he has issued an invoice of rupees 64,100 is the value of invoice. The value of invoice. Okay. And this is for supply of goods. This is for what? Supply of goods. This is for supply of goods. And the goods are supplied on 10/10. The goods are supplied on 10/10. Date of invoice is also 10/10. Now here payment received is payment received is 65,000 rupees. So basically, in this case, 900 rupees is the advance. Our invoice was 64,100. 900 is the advance. And it is received in the on 10/10 and credited in bank account on 11/10. Credited in bank account on 11/10. Now here, the time of supply in respect of goods for which invoice amounting rupees 64,100 is issued is 10/10. It is 10/10. This is the time of supply. Then in respect of advance payment of 900, rupees 900, time of supply shall arise subsequently when subsequent invoice is issued. When subsequent invoice is issued. And the advance is adjusted. Next question we will be discussing here. Determine the time of supply of goods in the following independent situations as per GST law, giving brief reasons for conclusion. And they are saying it's for 5 marks in June 2019. Answer without reasoning will not deserve any credit. So basically now, the time of supply in respect of goods is what? The date of invoice or the last date when the invoice is required to be issued. So it's the date of invoice or the last date on which the invoice was required to be issued, whichever is earlier. Now basically date of fundamental payment doesn't now assume importance in respect of goods because advance received in respect of goods, as we have seen, advance received in respect of goods is not liable to GST at a time of receipt of advance. At a time of, say, receipt of advance. Now let us see. First is the date of removal is 4/1/20XX. Date of receipt of the goods by buyer is 5/1. Date of issue of invoice is 4/1. Date of payment 5/1. And date when the payment has been credited in the supplier's account 6/1. So date of payment is 5/1 or 6/1, which I say earlier. Date of payment is what? Date when payment is credited in books, entered in books, or date when payment is credited in bank account. Okay. So here now let us see, the date of removal is 4/1 and invoice is issued on 4/1. So in first case, the time of supply is what? The date of invoice, as invoice is issued within the timelines which have been specified. So it is date of invoice, that is 4/1 will be the time of supply. 4/1 will be the time of supply. In second case, the date of removal is on 4/1. Date of receipt of goods is what? 3/1. So when we are removing, how is receiving before us, that we doesn't know. But the thing is, date of issue of invoices 5/1. Date of issue of invoices, say 5/1. So basically here invoice is issued and date of payment is 3/1, and date of payment when the payment is entered and date when payment is, say, credited is 2/1. So fundamentally date of payment is the date when the payment is entered in the supplier's account, or the date when payment is credited in the bank account, which is earlier. So it is 2/1. Now in this case, advance is received in respect of goods. Same will not be liable at a time of receipt. Hence, what will be the time of supply? Hence, the time of supply is the date of invoice or last date when invoice was required to be issued. When an invoice was required to be issued, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. Hence, time of supply will be what? Time of supply in this case is (4/120XX). 4/120XX as invoice is issued after removal, because invoice is required to be issued on or before the removal. So since invoice is not issued within the timeline, so it is the date of invoice, that is 5/1, or the last date when the invoice was required to be issued, that is 4/1. So the time of supply in this case will be what? 4/1. Advance will not be liable to GST. Here date of removal is on 4/1, date of receipt is on 5/1, date of issuance of invoice is on 4/1, and date of payment is 7/1 or 8/1, that is 7/1. So in this case, last case, here also the time of supply will be what? 4/1. Time of supply in this case will also be 4/1. So basically it is in respect of goods. Remember, in respect of services, GST liability will arise. In respect of services, GST liability will arise when, if advance is received at a time of receipt of such advance. Now let us discuss one more question that has been asked for 4 marks in December 2018 exam. Miss Antira, a registered person, supplied certain goods to Mr. G, also a registered person. The tax in respect of the said goods is liable to be paid on reverse charge basis. Now details of transaction is Date of receipt of goods by Mr. G is 26/11. Date on which payment is entered in the books of accounts of Mr. G, that is 22/12. The date when the payment is debited in bank account is 24/12. So here, and the date of issue of invoice is 20/11, and say date immediately following 30 days from date of issue of invoice by the supplier is what? 21/12. Now here we are required to determine what? The time of supply of goods on reverse charge basis. So basically, the time of supply of goods under RCM is determined as per section 12(3) of the CGST Act. And it is earlier of the following dates. It is earlier of the following dates. Time of supply is what? Earlier of the following dates. Number 1, it is the date of receipt of goods. It is basically the date of receipt of goods by the recipient. So here the date of receipt is, say, 26/11. It is 26/11. Number 2, the date when payment is entered in books of accounts. Payment is what? Recorded in books of accounts of recipient or the date when payment is debited from his bank account. So the date it is entered in the books of accounts, that is 22/12, or date when the payment is debited from his bank account is 24/12, whichever is earlier. So it is what? 22/12, or 31st day from the date of invoice. 31st day from date of invoice, that is 21/12 here, whichever is earlier. Whichever is earlier. So time of supply in this case will be 26/11. Time of supply will be 26/11. Time of supply in this case will be what? 26/11.